Hey, it's Adrian. Just before we get you to this episode, do me a favor and head over to pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair. Three things that I know it is most of the time, but it's not like that all of the time. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, enter your email address, it's completely free, and let's get you to this episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a day where there's absolutely nothing else happening in the world other than the US election. But my special guest today is a return guest, actually. I think originally I was looking up Angel. I think you were number 76. Now you're number 130. But
Amazing.
Angel, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me back, Adrian. I'm incredibly excited to be here.
Why don't we start with the obvious? You have something on your head.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
why don't you tell us a story about that? I've never heard, to be clear, of the doctor world system. I love the sound of it. I love the fact that there is a pageant system that's set up for female doctors. But tell us a bit about it and what happened.
Of course. So as you know, things have changed. Today, I'm now Dr. World 2021. This is an inaugural pageant that actually started this year by Dr. Diana Lawrence. It's very exciting because it's dedicated to women mentoring women. And as you said earlier, it's for women with their doctorates. And so different types of doctorates. So we had women competing all over the world with either their DMD, their MD, their PhD, Juris Doctors. So doctors of
Wow.
really any field. It was incredibly amazing to be in a group of such elite women of such high caliber that really showcase that beauty is more than just looks. Smart is beautiful. And to really be able to be empowered by this group of women, it's really a once in a lifetime experience. So it's very interesting because the first time I heard about the pageant, I had a friend who actually shared the link with me, and she said, "Hey, Angel, I think you'd be perfect for this, Dr. World." And then I saw it and I just thought, this is too good to be true. It can't be it can't be real. Like, is this really a pageant? Because it sounds
Yeah.
perfect for me. And sure enough, it was an actual pageant that was launching this year, and it's very exciting. And especially during 2020, where we know we've had a really challenging year with the pandemic and many of our
Yeah.
changes we've had in the world today. So it really gave me a light in the tunnel just to be able to focus my heart and my energy in something that really brings me so much joy. And it's just amazing. The actual pageant itself, I'm happy to share more about what that was like to compete virtually, because as you know, it was an international pageant and we
Hmm.
still competed, but instead of canceling or delaying the pageant, we did it virtually, which was very unique for me, being a pageant competitor that's used to being on stage.
I will show a couple of the videos that you sent me through, especially the one when you win. I mean, the video that I'm talking about when you found out that you win. Was that actually like literally recorded when you found out that you won?
Yeah, it was very interesting because initially I was emailing the director because the website wasn't refreshing for some reason on my laptop, and
That sounds
I,
about right.
I was devastated. I was like, I'm not even, I didn't even win, and so I'm not even in the finalists. I was actually really sad, and I remember emailing her and sending me a screenshot. And actually, that was the moment I found out. So I when I actually refreshed the link, that was when the recording was recorded, and that's when I got to really see the results. It was
Okay.
exciting.
I'll show that to everyone in a sec. I just want to ask, we always talk about pageantry celebrating women, not just for their beauty, but obviously what goes on everywhere else, their intellect, their creativity, etc. And in America, at least, I've noticed that there are a lot more, I don't want to say educated, but higher educations, such as master's, doctorate, that sort of thing, more so than probably I have here in Australia, for example. So I'm just curious to know, given that your system was exclusively for women with doctorates, had any of them actually competed in pageants before?
I believe so. I think actually one of your guests, Dr. Kareen, was one of the former international misses. And so I do think
Yeah.
some of them did. And I think that our current Miss America also our Dr. America, she also was involved in
Oh,
pageantry as
wow.
well. But it was such a unique experience because I never actually got a chance to meet the woman in person because it was virtual and we had to do all our submissions virtually. But I did get to learn a little bit more about them after we did announce the winners and the runner-ups. So
Yeah.
I got a chance to learn more about them, and it was so inspiring to just see so many women with such a diverse group and background. I think our Dr. United States of America, she's an anesthesiologist, and it was her first pageant.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it's incredibly exciting. She works in the front lines, and for her to be able to experience what a pageant's like during this pandemic, I think it was a really special moment for her. And so we had a broad group of women. We had women that had pageantry experience, and we had women that it was their first time in pageantry, and it was great to have that inclusivity. But I think what made these women so special was that they really got to showcase their professional fields, and we all have different
Yeah.
professional fields. And what we did is we did a field presentation where each of us, we had a minute and 30 seconds to talk about our field of study, to talk about why we went into it, what we loved about it, what the challenges are, and what advice we would give to other young people to mentor them in our profession. So that was really special. So even though you may not have pageantry experience, I think the role of being a mentor and being a professional, you get so much presentation skills. You have communication,
Mm.
communicating effectively in your doctorate or your field of study. I mean, I think that it was just such an exciting experience. And I had a coronation actually on Sunday. My friends got a chance to throw me a little intimate coronation, and it was really special. At first, I didn't think my coronation would match up what you see on a stage, but I
Of
definitely was blown
course.
away on Sunday.
Let's have a look because you talked about the field presentation. So let's have a look at that. Let me just bring it up. And we'll just watch it through, and then we can, guys, I can see a bunch of you watching. If you have any questions or comments, whack them in the comment section below. Angel, I don't know if you could see, but Elizabeth Coulthard here already said evening, Adrian and Angel.
Hi,
She's over in
Elizabeth.
Canada. Olga Bikadorova. Sorry, I
Go,
don't
Dr.
quite know.
World. Olga's actually
There you
competing
go.
in Miss World Canada right now.
I'm normally good with Russian names, but that one's thrown me. Dorova, I know, but Bika? Olga, I know. Okay. And Diana Lawrence here said interviews with judges were live online. Okay, so let me show everyone uh, so what was it called? Angel, the field
It was a field
presentation.
presentation.
Okay, so let's have a look at this.
And also
And
wanted
it
to share that I
goes,
did the editing myself. I'm very proud of this. Is my first time.
the tech skills. Everyone's tech skills in 2020 have leveled up, believe me. All right, this goes for 2 minutes and a half. Let's watch the whole thing through.
Hi, I'm Dr. Angel Bhathal, and I'm proudly representing Canada. My field of study is leadership and pharmacy. I currently practice as a senior director of pharmacy, and I am a licensed pharmacist. As a caregiver for my grandmother, I was inspired to become a pharmacist because I saw firsthand the impact that a pharmacist can have on the health and safety of patients through advocacy, compassion, and education. What I enjoy most about my career in pharmacy is my ability to diversify and to apply my education to do greater good for my patients, their families, my peers, but also the entire healthcare system. As a pharmacist, I've been able to practice in hospitals, in community pharmacies, in research, academia, and currently in leadership. One of the biggest challenges I face in senior leadership in pharmacy is the underrepresentation of women in leadership roles. I do believe that this challenge can be challenged through mentorship and encouraging young women to pursue leadership careers in pharmacy. In addition to this, another challenge is losing your patients to medical illness. As a pharmacist, you do become quite close to your patients because you provide them with compassion and care. So losing your patients is difficult. However, I think it's important to remember the impact that you've had on a patient's lives and their families, and that truly is something that's meaningful. My piece of advice would be that regardless of any external situations, any hardships, or even any rejections, know that you are fully capable of achieving anything that you set your mind to. At the end of the day, we can't control external situations, but we can control our own actions and our own beliefs. And it's very important for this reason to believe in yourself and to know that you are truly unstoppable at achieving exactly what you set your heart out to do.
Ready.
That's the winning video.
Yeah, it is.
We'll go to that in a sec. But Angel, I mean, recording something like that, and you've obviously competed in other pageants before. How different was the pageant experience this time? And I ask because a lot of women and girls, I think, are going to be going through something similar, at least for the foreseeable future, where there's no energy to bounce off when you're walking in front of the audience. And I know a lot of pageant girls love that. How different was it for you?
So I think that as Diana mentioned, we did have a live virtual panel of judges. So we did get to see the judges virtually for an interview. However, I guess when I did do the recordings for my field presentation and my evening gown, I didn't get to, like you said, there was no audience there to cheer for you. But with that being said, a lot of women, they do compete internationally and they do compete away from home. So sometimes you don't have your family and friends with you to cheer for you. You do sometimes have the audience, and that's always so nice to be cheered for. But it almost puts everybody also on the same playing field as well, right? So I think that regardless of what situation you're in, whether you are on a stage or whether you're competing virtually, you just have to always focus on the positives. And so just thinking of it from the lens that I could share this with my family and friends, I could share my performance with them virtually. And I think that was really special to still be able to participate in a pageant, even though it wasn't on stage. And I love being on stage, but my living room became my stage, so.
There's also a video of you doing, I think it's evening gown in your living room, which will show as well. Just before we go to that, Regine here has said, Angel, you are amazing.
Aw, thanks, Regine.
And Elizabeth, who said hello before, has a question. What was your favorite round? And since it was virtual, did it change from what it would have been if the pageant was held in person?
So in terms of the competition criteria, I don't believe that it would have changed the actual elements of competition. You still would have done probably your field presentation in person, your evening gown on a stage.
Right.
So I don't think it really changed so much of what would have been held in a pageant in person. But I would have to say that my favorite round of competition is always interview. I love the aspect of a dynamic conversation, being able to just show authenticity, to be yourself, and to have a dialogue with the judges, especially during a pandemic. I think human connection is just so special, and being able to still engage with strangers from around the world that were my judges, that was really special to me. And I think I'm always going to think that interview is one of the most important parts of any competition.
Absolutely. How was the interview conducted? Was it like a panel through a Zoom sort of thing?
Yes, it was a panel, and I had some great questions, and it went by pretty quickly, but I think that I was able to, be concise and be effective with my answers, and just to make it as much as, a conversation that you'd have with anybody else in your life, right? I think it's really important to be able to always be consistent with communication in an interview, whether it's with your family, your friends, your colleagues. I think once you're consistent and authentic in an interview, you could always be able to be yourself.
Absolutely. Okay, let's have a look at the evening round. Sorry, I just got to find the evening round. The evening wear. Here we go. All right. Now, let me bring the... I don't know, Angel, if you can comment on this. It's not the longest video. No, it's 29 seconds.
My living room doesn't have any lights. All I have is lamps, and as you could tell, it was really dim. So I did my best to be a videographer and to do some editing to lighten up the room. So it's a little blurry, but I think I did not so bad. I'll let you be the judge of that, Adrian.
We'll let the audience.
Okay,
we'll let the audience be the judge. All right, audience, here we go.
Dr. Angel Bhathal, Dr. World Canada.
You did super well considering that it seems like there's not a lot. Obviously, you don't have a runway. Most people don't have a runway in their
No,
living room, but it seems like you had quite a confined space to work with. So you did those spins really well.
thank you.
Did you work out
Yeah,
a little routine, or was that just improv on the spot? I mean, you've done enough pageantry, you probably could improv that, but
I did do a few takes. And so I just, it was tough because I couldn't get the whole frame of my entire dress. I couldn't get the bottom of it, the train. But at
yeah.
the end of the day, I was just like, this is, I'm gonna take the best one that I could find. And I worked with it. And I was really proud of myself because I had a chance to also put a little bit of, get a chance to do subtitles. That I've never had to learn how to do that before. So that was exciting for me. I feel like I'm a professional videographer now through this.
I love how you look so excited by the fact that you managed to find out how to put subtitles on a video, which I understand because a lot of people are learning new skills through 2020,
Absolutely.
right? Through lockdown. So, and tech skills are useful no matter what field you're in.
Absolutely.
And look, the audience here has voted overwhelmingly positively. So
Aww.
Elizabeth has said you look stunning. Olga has said stunning evening gown. Regine has given you claps, and Olga has said so eloquent and beautiful inside and out. Let's have a look at this winning video. I love winning videos because I love looking at the reactions. And I have seen this, to be completely honest, but I want to watch it
I'm
again.
just
Here we
gonna
go.
warn the audience, you might need to mute your line because my voice is pretty high pitched in case there's
No, I
anybody.
like turning the volume up at these points in time. So let's have a look.
Ready? I'm so nervous.
Okay, so who won?
Come close. Come, we'll look together.
Oh my god! Congratulations!
So what exactly was going through your mind at I think it's probably around here. Yeah, there you go. That sound right there. What were the emotions going through your head at that point in time?
I think there was a lot of disbelief. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this actually happened. It was such a special moment. I will be honest, I was a little bit sad because my family's in Winnipeg and I'm in Toronto right now. And with the pandemic, there is, the borders are closed to Eastern Canada. So there's a travel restriction for 14-day quarantine. So it's hard to get a chance to go back home. So I remember being super excited and happy. But then I was a little bit sad because I couldn't share that special moment with my family. But I got a chance to talk to them on the phone. And so that was pretty special. And I was completely surprised by this Sunday. I have amazing friends. One of my really good friends, Cindy, she just surprised me and had this amazing coronation for myself. And I never would have even imagined that, especially being new to Toronto and not knowing a lot of people, but the people that I met through pageantry. And it's so special how the women in pageantry, we really look out for each other and you mentor each other. I've been mentored by women and I've mentored women, and it's actually very cute and adorable because a lot of the women that I've mentored are actually watching this chat. And I just wanted to say hi to all of you. And it's so special to have you all in my life. And yeah, I can't even, this turned into something that I never even ever expected. I was in disbelief when I opened the webpage. I was also in disbelief on Sunday. And, it's just also special to me. And I'm just really just trying to soak in and just really be in the moment.
You sound like you're still in disbelief now.
Yeah. Well, watching the videos, right? You relive everything.
Give it a bit of time. I'm sure it will sink in. On the subject of mentoring, specifically women mentoring women, whether it's in pageantry or any other field, how important has that been to who you are? How important? I mean, how fulfilling is it for you to be able to say that you've mentored some of the women who are watching now?
It is incredibly fulfilling. There's something that is so much more important and special than achieving success yourself. Watching other women succeed and being able to be part of their journey is something that I recognize by being able to be a mentor, that is something that I feel is my life purpose. And it brings me so much happiness. And it's that human connection of being able to foster belief in somebody else that they start to believe in themselves because you believe in them. And, when I think about even some of the challenges I had growing up with, whether it's academically or socially or with my profession, you do get discouraged. At times people don't believe in you, but that one person that believes in you, they really push you to fulfill your purpose. And I just want to be able to give that back to all the women that I mentor. And I'm so fortunate for every woman that's mentored me as well. And I think it's really a two-way, it's give and take, and it's fulfilling on both sides.
Absolutely. Now, as a new system, first year, and obviously I'm not hugely aware of what's going to happen now. So can you talk us through what your year, I'm assuming it's a year-long reign, what that involves? I mean, you've already mentioned mentorship, and obviously we've got still the pandemic for the foreseeable future. Hopefully we do end up with a vaccine. I mean, you can probably update us since you work in pharma. Please make a vaccine, Angel, please. But aside from that, what's the plan for your year coming up, as much as you can give us, given that there's still Corona, obviously?
Absolutely. And I think that it's very applicable to everybody in pageantry right now, is that, we are all challenged by the pandemic, but there's ways to become creative. And so with next year, the pageant is scheduled to be virtual as well. As you stated, we aren't sure right now with the given pandemic when our normal come back, or if what that's going to look like. But it's really important to still have a plan. And for myself, I think I want to just have an opportunity to get involved in as many creative ways as possible, whether it's providing donations to a food bank or being able to also promote the system. That's really important, being able to do as many interviews as possible right now, especially since it's the inaugural year. I want to be able to share the message of mentoring women, the importance of it, and this system that's dedicated to empowering women through education. I think that's so important. So not only do I want to use my communication skills and my promotional skills to promote the system, but also to do community service in creative ways, like as I mentioned earlier. And the organization that's the most important to me and near and dear to my heart is the Because I'm a Girl initiative. I was actually thinking about, so this is something I was planning last night. I was thinking about arranging a webinar with inspirational female speakers and to charge a fee for that. Obviously it would be affordable, but all funds would be proceeded to the Because I'm a Girl initiative, because as you know, with this pandemic, it's definitely changed the way we have access to an education. And being in a developed country, we have the tools, we have computers, we have resources to do homeschooling, but there's many countries where they don't have that equal access to education. So one of the things I really wanted to do in my year was be able to develop a fundraiser, and the proceeds for that would go towards the Because I'm a Girl initiative, so that we could support whether they're home school kits for students in developing countries, so that girls can stay in school longer, because the equal access to girls in developing countries is not equal. And so I think it's something that's even more vulnerable right now during a pandemic.
Angel, can you just mention the name of that foundation again, and I might be able to bring it up and show everyone on stream what it is?
Of course. It's the Because I'm a Girl initiative. And yes, so they have different branches. So they have Plan Canada, they have Plan International, but the Because I'm a Girl initiative's under the Plan Canada.
Plancanada.ca. Okay, so tell me if this is Angel.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
This is what's come up here. Because I'm a Girl, DEFY normal, define normal, and it's plancanada.ca, and then a lot of information there about and statistics about female education, which obviously is hugely important. So, so you said you're planning hopefully to do a webinar, get some inspiring females to speak, and then charge sort of a nominal fee, and all the proceeds go towards that.
Yeah. So if you know any, or if there's anybody on this call that knows any that would like to refer anybody, that would be great. I really want to start planning this as soon as possible, especially because there's so much that we could do in a really timely way, especially with our current situation.
Absolutely. I mean, at a guess, I would start with the delegates in your pageant, because they're all doctors.
Of course.
That's a pretty much low-hanging fruit. You might already have enough takers right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I have interviewed Corinne Devon, and she's amazing. Obviously working in the Navy. A pageant girl in the Navy is unusual, no matter what anyone says.
Absolutely.
So I would start there. Angel, can you tell us, I mean, I don't know whether you see this as the midpoint of your pageant career. Is this towards the end? Is it still the beginning? But what has your pageant journey meant to you throughout your life? And where do you think you would be now if you hadn't got involved with pageants to begin with?
To be completely honest, Adrian, when I was younger, I was really shy. And I think what pageantry did for me, it gave me so much confidence in myself. It made me more extroverted than I could have ever imagined. But it also brought something way more valuable, and it was connection. It's a human connection and the bond that you share with the woman that you meet in the sisterhood of pageantry. Every single pageant, I also was able to learn so much about myself and being
Mm,
able to be self-reflective, but also to be dedicated on your personal development. And each pageant that I've been in, I've been able to evolve or chip away at myself and becoming a better version of myself. And I'm sure you hear that. It might be a cliche line, but it's so true. You really
yeah.
enable yourself to be sharper, to be more self-reflective, to be able to be a more effective communicator, whether it's to advance also your community service and to take it to another level and to evolve your platform and then also inspire others. I think that it's so special what pageantry does for a woman. I wish that
Mm,
I could share it with everybody because it's the one unique system where you could really evolve all parts of yourself. This is not a sole competition on fitness or public speaking. It's the whole 9 yards. And at the end of the
mm,
day, in order to be able to walk away from it and to be successful, whether or not you have a crown or not, it's about being well-rounded. And I think that systems like the doctoral pageant allow women to feel well-rounded and to be proud of their professional life, but also their pageant life as well, right? I think it's, being an all-rounder is a really, it's something that we need to really focus on more as a society versus just aesthetics. I think it's really important to focus on intelligence, focus on community service, and to also focus on your passions and what lights your heart on fire.
Remind me, I don't know if we covered this in our previous interview. What was your first ever pageant, and when was it?
Oh, wow, you're aging me now. So when you asked, I didn't ask one question that you asked me. I don't know if you noticed, but you asked me where in my pageant career I was. So if you want to age me, I can tell you when my first pageant was.
Go on then. How long ago are we talking about?
19 years ago.
Wow.
19 years ago was my first pageant. It was a teen pageant, and I just had so much fun doing it. It wasn't until I became a Miss in 2010, I competed in Miss World Canada, and I was top 12 for that. Really excited. Uh, I was I was in a challenged place at that time because I was a caregiver for my grandmother, and she was getting really sick. And I actually 2 weeks before the pageant, I was ready to pull out. She was in
Mm,
the ICU. She got better, and then I remember she got better, and she told me, "Go compete in that pageant." And I'm like, "But I can't. Like, I just want to be with you, and I don't know how much time I have." And so I went and competed. I was really happy and excited that I placed competitively, and then. In 2011, I was graduating pharmacy school, and a week before my licensing exam, my grandmother passed away, and it was super difficult because I was so close to her. And so, unfortunately, my pageant career as an adult started late because I was trying to balance being a student and being a caregiver. But it also gave me an opportunity to experience life and to recognize how providing
mm,
compassion and mentorship to others is something that is so fulfilling. And I went on to go and compete in Miss Earth Canada in 2012. I was second runner up for that. And then in my final year in 2013, I competed in Miss Universe Canada. I was a top quarter finalist for that. And then I aged out. And then from that, I went on to compete in Galaxy International, and I represented Canada and was second runner up there in 2016. And here I am. And here I am, Dr. World 2021. So I think this is end my pageant career on a high, but it's been so special. So I'm still thinking about it, but I feel like this is a good chance for me to be near the end of my career, but to reverse that and to really give back to young women in pageantry, but also in pharmacy, but also pursuing leadership. I want to be able to give back to
mm.
other women on all of my learnings during my career and during my journey.
when you said 19 years, I was shocked for two reasons. One is that's the longest I've heard. I've heard of 10 years, 12 years, 19 is a new record. But the other reason I look shocked, Angel, is you don't look old enough to have a 19-year-old pageant history. So I'm like, when did you start? When you were two? But anyway, um, I do want to ask, how has your perception of pageants changed from when you started all the way back then, 19 years ago, to now? And how indeed have you actually found that pageantry has changed since then? Because the industry is always evolving. So how have your perceptions changed, and how have you noticed that the pageant industry is evolving as we speak?
I think my perceptions have changed that in that I've recognized the most important part is inside. And it's so important that you're in the right mindset, that you're very self-reflective, and you have gratitude. That is the most important thing to focus on. I think when you're initially getting to pageantry, you're focusing on all the elements of competition, practicing your interview, practicing your walk, looking at your wardrobe. But at this stage now, I've recognized the most important part is internal. It's super important that you know who you are. It's very important that you could always feel proud of yourself with or without a crown. And it's important that you know what your purpose is, and you're using this opportunity with gratitude to give back and to serve a greater purpose. And this is something that's once in a lifetime. You won't ever get it back. And it's so important to just really be in the moment and to enjoy what you have right now. And that's, as a, as somebody in 19 years of pageantry, that's my advice for for young pageant girls out there.
That's good advice, to be sure. And the second part of the question, how do you feel that pageantry itself has changed over those 19 years?
It's changed so much, Adrian. It's so interesting that you asked that, because I was having deja vus of back in the day, what it was like, even in terms of acquiring
That's
sponsors.
when you know that you're getting on, when you start a sentence with "back in my day" or "back in the day," but continue.
But it's been amazing to live through all these different eras of pageantry, right? And just going back from like even getting to the real administrative part of pageantry back in the day. I remember having a paper sponsorship letter that you would go off and drop off at businesses, and you would ask, do you want to do a sponsorship for this pageant? And now it's totally different. You have social media, and it's completely different. We didn't have social media back then. And I
remember.
Right.
And sometimes I miss those days.
I remember doing so many interviews in the newspaper and in, even just on TV. And it's a lot different now. Like even in terms of getting in the press, it's a lot more saturated with other elements of the news. And I think girls are leveraging more on their social media to bring out messages, which is incredible as well. But, part of me does miss the good old days when we could, we did all those like press interviews. It was really exciting, and you have that memory, that physical memory that's always going to be with you. I mean, there's still opportunities for that, but I think that those opportunities have definitely gotten a little bit more slim than what they were back in the day. And then the other thing I've noticed too is that there's a lot more, there's a lot more visibility in terms of pageantry. You're starting to see more attention to it, which is great. I think back in the day, not especially, I think maybe you could also advocate for this, but being in Canada, we don't have that many pageant systems. We're a large country in size, but in terms of population, we don't have a lot of people. So pageantry here is nowhere as large as it is in the United States. So, but being able to go from, then to now, I've seen the growth in pageantry. I've seen more women want to be involved in, and I've seen so many more systems pop up, and I'm excited about it. I think it's great when we could have that change. The other thing that I've seen change, Adrian, is the fact that we are seeing more diverse groups of women represented in pageants. I remember competing nationally at some of the pageants that the Grand Slam pageants that I competed in when I was younger, and I felt that my height and my look might not have been that conventional beauty queen look. And so it's so exciting to even see now that girls that you're seeing so many more girls of color, you're seeing so many girls of different heights representing, and that to me that's a win for all of us women, not just women of minorities, but all of us. I think being able to have that equal representation of diversity is so special and was so needed. And even though it's taken a long time to get there, I'm so happy that we've come there, and we're only going to continue to progress.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We're talking about your pageant journey. So obviously it started as a teen. You've gone through a fair few systems. You now have the crown on your head. For most people, the journey doesn't end because once a pageant girl, always a pageant girl. The next stage normally is taking up a position of leadership. You've done mentorship, but obviously also pageant directing or help another director with their pageant. Have you given any thought to directing a pageant or helping someone out with their directorial duties?
Absolutely. Well, I definitely want to help Diana. If you're watching, I want to help Diana with launching Dr. World. I think it's just such a beautiful vision and a message, and I want to help to grow the system. In terms of, for myself, I think coaching is something that's really special to me. And the reason for that is because of mentorship. It's definitely something that I feel is something that is just natural to me. I remember being a little girl, being 5 years old. This is bad because my parents were mad at me at the time, but I would line up my Barbie dolls and I would write on my dad's dresser, and I would mentor my Barbie dolls and teach them. And I just knew at that point that it was permanent marker, by the way.
Of course.
I just knew at that moment that there's something special about teaching somebody else. And the other moment that I realized that I really loved mentoring and teaching was with my grandmother. So my grandmother was illiterate back in the day. She, in India, women weren't allowed to go to school. And so when she came to Canada, she raised me as a little girl, and I would go to school. I would learn the ABCs. I would learn so much at school. I'd come home and I'd teach my grandma. So I actually taught my grandma the alphabet. And so I think at a really early age, I realized that educating others doesn't matter where you're educating them, in what capacity, whether it's your profession, your personal life. It is just so valuable. Knowledge is not meant to be kept to yourself. It's meant to be disseminated and shared with others. And that's, I think, truly how we progress as humanity, is through that shared learning and that mentorship. So I think definitely, if I think about the long term, I want to continue to mentor.
I mean, you mentioned that you mentored your Barbies, your Barbie dolls. Can I ask what you mentored them in, and were they receptive? Were they good students?
I mentored them science, obviously, but because I'm a geek. Like,
did they learn anything? Did they give you any feedback?
This is now, we're just getting silly now, but I was younger, okay? I was a kid, but there were little tests and I'd score them. I'd give them check marks and give like different ones A+. I loved educating. It's just, I don't know. I think there's something really special about it. And I also got a chance to do some teaching during my PharmD and my doctorate of pharmacy. And I got to teach some students in university and in colleges. And that was just so rewarding. After your students go, it's just so, even just precepting, right? During pharmacy, pharmacists need to complete a significant amount of internship hours. So when I would have pharmacy students or I'd have pharmacy interns, I'm a mentor that makes sure my learners are learning, and I'll put them, I'm a fun mentor, but I will also make sure that you are going to learn a lot. And so it was really one of the most, I guess, special compliments is that when the students would leave, a week after they left, I'd end up getting an email in my inbox. And so I would get this special email that would say, Angel, I just want to let you know, I learned so much in my placement. And, even when there were times when the pharmacy was slow, you still would teach me things. You take your time to go through different scenarios with me so that I was prepared for when I became a pharmacist, what to do in different situations. So it's so special that, you get to hear from your mentees in the future. And sometimes they even come to you and they ask you for a referral for jobs. And that is something that I think is just so honorable, to get the chance to be a referral for, a former student's career ambitions.
I think that's one of the best differences between, I mean, obviously, I have nothing but respect for teachers, but in terms of not just imparting the knowledge over, but the mentorship, I see as one step sort of above, if that's the right terminology, because it's not just about the knowledge, it's also about being a role model and having walked the path before. So I know exactly what you mean, how it's like when someone that you've mentored comes back to you and says what a difference that you made to their life. It's probably one of the best feelings in the world. So absolutely. Okay, Angel, we've talked about a lot. For those of you who didn't see our first interview and don't know who Angel is, can you give us a brief summation of who you are outside of pageantry? Obviously, we've mentioned pharmacy, but what do you do to unwind? What is a normal day in the life? Well, not that anyone's got a normal life at the moment, but what does a week in the life of Angel look like at the moment? And what do you do when you're not in pageant mode or pharma mode?
Sure. I know. I mean, it's challenging to say because normally I would say traveling. So that's definitely also
That's not
changed. I think
happening
that's
at
what I
the
said in our
moment.
last interview,
Yeah.
but that's not happening anymore. So I would have to say it's just a lot of self-care. It's so important. Doing a lot more meditation, journaling in my gratitude journal, connecting with friends and family virtually. And then I guess in Toronto, it's just having a bubble, a close-knit bubble that you stay in just to ensure that you're safe. Going to the grocery store.
It's an adventure these days, isn't it? That we
Very
can get
exciting
to
to
the
go to the
grocery
grocery
store.
store.
Yay. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. The first when I got back from the UK back in March, it's just before the lockdown, and I came back, I didn't leave the house at all for like 5 or 6 weeks at all. And the first time I went to the grocery store, it was like I was going on an international trip. I was actually kind of nervous about going in, so I know what you mean.
Exactly. How about yourself, Adrian? I want to know what do you like to do for fun during this pandemic?
I like to interview people. I mean, one of the great things, one of the great things. I mean, it's been a horrible time for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, but one of the benefits for me is that everyone's been stuck at home, so no one has anything better to do than to jump on an interview with
Lots of
myself.
interviews.
Including and people getting better with tech such as yourself, so they know what Zoom is, for example. They're not like, Zoom, what's Zoom, is that like Skype? It's like, okay. But I've interviewed a fair few of your fellow Canadian queens as well. So for example, I don't know if you saw, but Maria here, Maria Jorlando, who I think, Maria, aren't you competing at Miss World Canada like
She's
right
also
now?
competing right now. Yes, also mentored her as well. Hi, Maria.
Yeah, I was like, aren't you competing right now, Maria? I've been watching your posts. Cindy here, also director of Galaxy Canada,
Yes,
has said, so proud of you, Angel.
she's so
And
sweet.
Cindy, I have product placement here. This is
Yes.
a Galaxy mug that Maria sent me.
Oh, that's so cute. She actually threw me a very memorable coronation on Sunday.
I will show a bit of that. It looks
Sure.
like there was some crying in it from yourself.
Yeah, I was bawling
Yeah.
my eyes. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, we can wrap up the interview on Angel crying. I've made Angel cry. That's great. Diana here has said, you are so fabulous. I'm so proud to have you as my first Dr. World. I feel blessed to be building the system with you and your sister queens. Kimberly Cower, sorry if I haven't pronounced it correctly. Kimberly, get it, girl. The girls are all so proud of you.
Aww, that's so sweet.
And Maria has said, sure am, always got to support my girl.
Aw,
So
thank you so much, everyone. Yes, Diana, I'm so excited to be your first Dr. World, and I feel incredibly lucky to have you as my director. And you've definitely made my dreams come true, and I hope I make yours as well. And Kimberly is actually my big sister. And so when she said the girls are watching, she's talking about my 3 little nieces that are watching at home, which makes me super excited. So as I mentioned earlier, my family is in Winnipeg, and Adrian, thank you so much. You're allowing my family to see me all the way from another province.
Oh. It's my pleasure. This is just like one big family reunion. Well, I hope they're watching and they can type something in the comments. And Maria, obviously, good luck for Miss World
Yes,
Canada.
good luck, Maria. Good luck, Olga. Both of you
Yeah,
women so well.
I'm glad to see that some pageants are still running as normal, although everything is different with masks and everything. So, how close are we to a vaccine, Angel? Can you give me the inside secret? Tell me it's coming next week, please.
I can't.
Damn. Oh my God. I've never wanted a vaccine so badly in my life. Anyway, let's have a look at the coronation. It's a bit long, so I won't show the whole thing because I think
Sure.
it's 3 minutes long. Should I show the beginning, the middle, or the end?
You know,
When are you
I
most
probably
emotional?
you could probably do maybe halfway. That's where the water works. I think that's always what's more interesting for people, right? Is seeing the emotion.
Yeah, that does look like a crying face. So let's drop in here and see what happens.
Winnipeg, you inspire for them to compete at Galaxy and also help them win the crown. This is from the family there. And then we also have Maria Gerlando, who's also competing at NBC and also got you flowers and wanted to wish you good luck. And even she's competing, she still took the time to do this.
You don't look terribly happy, Angel.
I
That
just
should be your profile photo.
but I just couldn't believe it. I didn't expect it. I just thought that, I don't know, it was just so sweet to be feeling that love that I don't know why, but I just didn't expect any of it. And
Yeah.
I was completely speechless. I still am.
The look
And
is perfect. But
I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed to have been in pageantry because it's really allowed me to feel so much love and to also share love and support for other women as well. And when I just think about that, I just feel so full in my heart.
I have to say, part of me wants to take this as take a screenshot of this, and then I can caption it as when you find out you have an interview with a pageant project.
Go for it. You can make a meme
with
out of it.
that with that face. I just feel that'd be perfect. Anyway, what have we got here? Kimberly has written a rather long message. Women of color, it's always an honor to see ourselves represented on such an amazing platform. It allows girls to see themselves in ways they may not have seen themselves before, in positions of power and in positions in which they can create change on a world level. And Olga here has said, thank you for inspiring and empowering women across the world. So a lot of support.
Thank you, my Olga.
So if you're looking for women, inspiring women to have on your webinar, I think
Yes.
you're certainly not going to be short.
I'm not going to be short. And like you said, I definitely will have many from my sisterhood of my doctor world. But maybe I can create this into a webinar series where I can do a few in a quarter. Right. So I think even just to kind of have, a range of women, whether they have their doctorates, but also other women as well. I think it's important to inspire so many different aspects of women, whether it's not only professional life, but also their personal life as well and their self-care. So this is just kind of, I'm in my exploration phase and kind of determining my fundraiser for the Because I'm a Girl initiative. So if you have any tips or insight, I would love to hear it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just starting my journey on my little fundraising platform.
Sounds good. My tips are to reach out to everyone, and no one's off limits.
Okay.
Just reach out to a whole bunch of people. You could easily go through my list of interviews. As I mentioned, I think you're number 130. So there's 129. If we don't include you, that's 129 women that you can reach out to. And during this time, it's actually easier to get a hold of most people. But I do also think it's a good idea not just to reach out to women who are killing it in their professional career, because there's so many women who are role models, if you know what I mean, for different aspects of their lives, not for just being alive. Some of their life stories are absolutely amazing.
Going through life challenges, going through trauma. So what I'm thinking and envisioning is like a different representation. So we could have the professional, the academic, and that side, and also being able to have maybe some aspects of going through personal trauma as well. And I think that there's just the world's our oyster, right? And so I'm really excited to start this off.
Sounds like a great idea to me. Okay, Angel, we will wrap up with the same 10 questions I asked you last time. I can't remember the question. I can't remember your answers, but sometimes they come back when you answer them again. Just before we do that, any shout outs, any and all shout outs you want to do, thank yous you want to do for supporting you along your journey?
I would I have to say that I have such a long list, but to say who I'm thanking, I'll do a quick thank you right now, just based on everybody who's been tuning in today. First and foremost, thank you so much, Dr. Diana Lawrence, for giving me this opportunity to represent the world. I'm so excited to be working with you and to help grow your dream, because it's also my dream as well. Wanted to say hello to my sister and to my 3 nieces, Jackie, Jasmine, and Josie. I miss you girls so much. And I am going to convince your mom to let you compete in pageants. I'll even be your personal pageant coach. And wanted to shout out to all of my girls that are tuning in, my amazing friend Cindy, and my pageant mentees and friends. Thank you so much, Regine, Olga, Maria, and everyone else I can't see exactly who's here, but everybody else who's here tuning in. Thank you so much. I love you so much, and it means the world that you support me, and you know that you always have my support.
It's a good job. I don't think you forgot anyone there.
I hope so.
That's always a good thing. Okay, the final 10 questions. Do you remember any of your answers from last time?
I do, but this was pre-pandemic, right? So I'm curious to know how much has changed.
Well, my questions haven't changed.
Okay,
After 130 times, they're still the same. I hope you've grown. I hope you're not exactly the same person. No one's the same after 2020, believe me. I think we've all aged about 10 years. Okay, question the first. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Oh, what did I say last time?
I don't know. You might have gotten stuck the last time as well. I can't remember.
I think I'd say sleep. I love sleep. I don't get enough of it.
Because you're not getting any?
I don't get enough of it, so.
Well, you don't need sleep when you have coffee. I lie. Coffee is a very poor substitute for sleep, believe me. Anyway, question 2, what is your least favorite word?
Well, I guess my least favorite word, I would have to say I think this is the same as last time. It's just any word that's discriminatory. I think it's just, growing up and experiencing, so many aspects of, racism and other forms of discrimination. I think any word that's discriminatory and insensitive is always challenging to hear. And that's always a word. Any word that's discriminatory is always something that I don't want to hear.
Yep, absolutely. Question 3, in life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
Well, I think I probably said travel back in the day.
Could still be the answer now, except you can't do it.
Now,
so
Adrian,
what's something that turns you on that you can do?
Now it's, being able to order takeout and it shows up to my front door and I get so excited.
I get that, because I'm not someone who's used to ordering a bunch of things online. I don't know how it is in Canada, but in America, obviously, you can order things and they just appear same day or next day. That's normal.
It's amazing.
In Australia, that's not really been normal. So yesterday, I went on Amazon and I ordered underwear, socks, and T-shirts. And the underwear and socks arrived the next day, and I was actually quite excited. I don't know. Our expectations have gone way, way down in 2020, I think. Anyway, that was what turns you on. What turns you off?
I remember what I said last year's time. I said the cold.
And you're living in the right country for that, aren't you?
And I still agree, because it's getting colder and it's actually really hilarious. So I'm not sure if you've seen one of these, but because I really don't like the cold, one of my coworkers sent me something called the Comfy. It's literally this long blanket that becomes a hoodie. And when I put it on, I literally look like a sloth. But that's how much I don't like the cold. So now I have this to keep me warm.
Just to clarify, do you wear that outside?
I don't go outside anymore, Adrian.
Okay. I love it. You're living your entire life indoors. You've prepped for a pageant. You've won a pageant, and you're living your best life indoors inside a blanket.
I'm just kidding. But I mean, I guess while you're in quarantine and you're staying at home to keep safe, it gets hard. I sometimes I just don't want to take this off. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, I get that. It looks like a Netflix and chill blanket. That's what it looks like. Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise that I love? I mean, I love amazing music, relaxing music, any meditation. Also love affirmations. Something that I've started to do is to record my own affirmations and to listen to them before bed. And it's really helped me go to sleep.
Very nice.
Mhm.
I've done something similar, but I listen to it in the morning when I'm on my run. Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
I think this is probably mutual for everybody, but the alarm clock. Right? Am I right?
What sound? You're not universally right. It is a very popular answer. What sound does your phone? I'm assuming you use a phone, not an actual alarm clock. Is that,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's the default one.
Default?
Mhm.
Okay. Because I was going to say many a song has been ruined by using a favorite song as an alarm clock, because then you grow to hate the song. So don't make that mistake.
I won't. I don't
Question
even know how to
7.
do that, so.
Okay, don't worry about it then. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
I think it would definitely be a healer. The same answer as last time, as a healthcare professional, and especially during a pandemic, during COVID-19. Being a healer and being able to cure during a pandemic, that would really be amazing to save lives. And as we know, there's certain diseases and conditions where we don't have treatments yet, and so being able to be a healer and give those patients a chance is something that I think would be incredibly important.
Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
This is so interesting. I kind of wish I could be a singer or an entertainer. I think that would be very fun to be like a future Beyonce or something like that.
Would you like to audition now?
I thought about it. Or actually, another thing I thought about too is acting. Acting.
Have you tried any of those sorts of things before, like even in a school play or something like that?
I have. I was actually the lead role in a junior high musical. It was called, this is going to also age me, but it was called 2000 Together.
just change the names of these things. Call it 2010
I should, right?
Together.
I'm
or
gonna
something.
probably regret all of this after. I'm just kidding. And yeah, I enjoyed it. And then the other thing that I did is I also was able to be on a movie, and they asked me, but it was a small role. I was actually playing a beauty queen, a parade queen, and I was just waving on a float in a parade.
Yeah, got it.
It was my big break, Adrian. I was really excited.
Is that art imitating life? Life imitating art? Interesting. Okay. Well, what job would you definitely not like to attempt?
I remember the answer to this, and it's the same answer. I think it would be truck driver. I don't think I could drive those long hours, and my sleep is already so sensitive. I don't think I could drive long shifts overnight. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea.
Now, Maria has a request here. Angel, are you taking song requests?
Oh my goodness. Sure, I guess.
Maria has said, can you please sing?
Oh my God. Actually, I don't know.
Would you like some backing music to it?
Say my name. I'll just say my name by Destiny's Child. No? Don't want that? I don't know the words for I Will Survive.
At first I was afraid. Okay. I was petrified.
Fine. Okay, fine. Got it. I'm just going to do that part, and that's it. Nervous. I can't do this. At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Maria, it's what do you think? Is it a thumbs up? What is like those reality shows where they spin the chair around or something? Oh, Maria, we better delay. Now she said, "I'll say my name," but we're going with. I'm not going to keep Angel on just taking song requests. We've become a karaoke. On my podcast, we've all started singing songs because everyone's gone a bit batty in 2020. But there you go, Maria. Your song request has been honored. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome home.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Okay. Well, Angel, that's about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Adrian. It's always so fun.
We try our best, especially during 2020 when everyone needs a bit of a laugh. I say we try our best. I'm going crazy. I try my best. It's just me here. There's no one else. But congratulations again, Angel. And I can't wait to see you do amazing things with your title. I'm also going to thank everyone for watching, whether it's live or on the replay, submitting your questions. Angel, I'll keep you on the line for just a sec whilst I hang out with the audience. But we will speak to you all next time.
Thanks.
Hey, it's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head up to pageantlaunch.com to join the launch team for our pageant review site. All you have to do is enter your email address. It's completely free. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with your friends and follow us on all our socials. Thanks, and see you next time.